What's up, everyone? Dwayne Bryant here with another NBA trend report. It is Tuesday, November 14th, and I've got five very good NBA trends for you that are active today. They are a combined 61 and 2. We're going to get right into those, but first, as I always do, I am going to start by saying please do not ever make a bet based on any single trend. If you use trends as part of your handicapping process, in my opinion, and what I recommend you do is that you weigh out what you feel are the relevant trends for each game and see if they weigh out more heavily one way or the other. With that said, let's go right to trend number one. And with this one, we're going to be looking at the Miami Heat. We're going to go back to last season when they are facing an opponent whose winning percentage on the season is between 25 and 37%. We'll hit the SDQL button, and you can see that the Miami Heat, despite being an average favorite of about -4, they're just 5-8 straight up, 2-10-1 against the spread, losing to the spread by about 5.8 points per game. And you can see that this trend is active today with the Heat visiting the Charlotte Hornets. Now, usually, again, with these basketball trends, I like the margin to be better than 2 possessions, so better than 6 points. This one is just under that threshold. So I don't love this trend, but it's still a good trend that is relevant and should be considered in that game. So that being said, we're going to move into trend number two. And guys, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell for notifications so you are made aware as soon as I drop one of these trend reports on this channel. For trend number two, we're going to look at the Indiana Pacers just this season when they are coming off a loss versus the current opponent. So this is basically a revenge game. Normally you see a lowercase p, which refers to a team's previous game, but this is a capital P. The capital P refers to a team's previous game against the current opponent. So this is basically the Pacers in a revenge spot as they're coming off a loss the last time they faced the current opponent. And we'll hit the SDQL button, and you'll see that the over-under here is 8-0, 8 overs, no unders. These games went over by an average of nearly 18.5 points per game. You can see that this is active today with the Pacers visiting the 76ers. This was also active 2 days ago when the Pacers faced the 76ers in Philly, and that game soared over the total by 25.5 points. You'll also notice in the right-hand column, none of those 8 games went overtime, so that is a legit margin of nearly 18.5 points per game. You can see the average final score here. Indiana 129.2, their opponents 125.4. So they're going, they're scoring 254.6 points per game on average. This trend is active today, as I said, the second go around between these two teams. I don't really like this trend, though, and here's why. Love that it's 8-0. I really love the margin, but if you look, all of these games refer to a revenge spot from a loss from last season. None of these, except today's game. Today's game will be the first, where the revenge is coming from last season. And that I don't like at all, because do you really think that these Pacers players, coaches, whatever, are thinking to themselves, wow, we're really amped up for this game because this team beat us the last time that we played them last season? No, they're not. They've forgotten all about that. I mean, unless it's playoff revenge where a team knocked you out of the playoffs last season and this is the first time you're facing them this season, then maybe. But just for a regular season loss like this, there's revenge doesn't mean a damn thing. So I don't love this trend. I put it up here because I want you guys to understand that I don't like every trend I come across. I don't care what the record is. I don't care what the margin is. If it doesn't make good handicapping sense to me, I'm going to throw it out anyway. I put this up here though, A, because of the margin, and B, because this is an immediate spot where they just played the Sixers in Philly 2 days ago. So I give it some relevance today. But like, for example, this is supposedly is going to be active next Tuesday when the Pacers visit the Hawks. Uh, I'm not sure if they played the Hawks this season yet or not, but if it's referring to a revenge for a loss last season, that means nothing. Revenge for a regular season loss last season, that means absolutely nothing. So again, you have to determine what trends you feel are relevant. Uh, Obviously, most of them are not. So with that said, let's move into trend number 3. And guys, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up to like this video. I would really appreciate you doing so. For this next one, we're going to look at the 76ers. We're going to go back to January 28th of this year. So this cuts into last season. When they're facing an opponent that is averaging 48% or better field goal percentage on the season, and the line for the game is greater than -8, which basically means as long as the Sixers are not a favorite of -8 or more. So they could be an underdog, could be a pick 'em, they could be a favorite of -7, just as long as they're not a favorite of -8 or more. And we'll hit the SDQL button. And you'll see that the Sixers are 14-1 straight up, even though the line is basically a pick 'em, maybe minus -0.7 on average. They won by double digits on average, 14-0-1 against the spread, covering the spread by nearly 10 points per game. And you can see that this is active tonight with the Sixers hosting the Pacers. So a lot of activity we got going here on this show about that Pacers-Sixers game, and I got news for you. We're not done. We're going to go back to that game one more time before we're done here today. But we're going to move into trend number 4. And guys, if you have any trends or angles that you'd like me to look up, and now it says college football games on the screen. I just didn't update the graphic. Bottom line, if you got any trends or angles that are active for today, it's NBA games that you found, drop them in the comments. If you have any that you'd like me to look up, drop your request in the comments below, and I will get to them when I can. For this next trend, we are going to look at the Memphis Grizzlies. We're going to go back to last season when they are a road underdog, so capital AD is away dog. The line is less than or equal to 6, so they're a away dog of +6 or less. And the total for the game is less than or equal to 245. We'll hit the SDQL button. And you can see that the Grizz are 0-14 straight up, losing, even though the line was only about a +3.5 on average. They lost these games by over 18.5 points per game. Also, 0-14 against the spread, losing to the spread by an average of 15.25 points per game. So they're getting smoked in these games. And you can see that this is active tonight. The Grizzlies visiting the Lakers. And that is going to bring us to the 5th and final trend for today. And guys, I got to tell you, if you are so inclined, head on over to dbbets.com, and here's why. Look on the right-hand side of the page. You'll see today's plays. I have a 6-pack of college hoops totals going tonight. Look, last season, November, December, my first half college hoops totals hit at a 63% clip. I've hit 2 out of 3 this season. I'm going out big tonight with a big 6-pack of first half college hoops totals. Normally those plays sell for $25 a piece, but I'm putting all 6 of them in one package. So you're getting $150 worth of plays for just $29 today. So that works out to less than $5 per play. You can get them all right now over at dbbets.com. So let's go now to trend number 5. And we're going to wrap it up by going back to that Pacers-Sixer game. We're going to look at the Pacers going back to last season when their opponents this is basically right here rebounds minus opponents' rebounds. So that's rebound margin. So their opponents' rebound margin is +3 or more per game on the season. And the total for today's game is 226 or higher, but no higher or under 242. So 226 up to 241 and a half, basically, because there's no equal sign there. So we're not counting 242. So if I went and said equals 241 and a half, that would be the same thing. So Pacers, going back to last season, when their opponent's rebound margin is +3 or better per game on the season, and the total for today's game is between 226 and 241 and a half. We'll hit the SDQL button, and you can see that the Pacers over-under is a perfect 15-0, 15 overs, no unders. These games went over by an average of better than 21 and a half points per game. Now, if you look, there was one overtime game over here, and I did look it up. I believe there were 29 points scored in that overtime period. So even if you throw that out, that's only going to affect this margin by about 2 points a game. So you're still looking at an over margin of better than 19 and a half points per game. Very impressive margin, very impressive record. And this is active with the Pacers taking on the Sixers tonight. And again, this was just like the other Pacers over trend from earlier in the video. This one was active when they faced the Sixers 2 days ago, and they soared over the total by 25 and a half points. I mean, look at this column. OU and then a lowercase m is over under margin. These games went over by 25 and a half, 25 and a half, 45 and a half, 37 and a half, 48, 26, 22, 33. I mean, these games aren't even close to going under the total. Huge margin. Love the trend. Definitely active tonight. Indiana at Philly. And guys, that is going to do it for the NBA trend report for Tuesday. I will do one of these videos Monday through Friday whenever there are enough games and there are enough good trends that it makes it worthwhile to do a video. Sometimes, just like yesterday, there were only 4 games, didn't have enough good trends to make it worth doing a video. So it all depends. So, days when I have enough games and I've got enough good trends, I'll put one of these out. So we'll see where it goes from there. Tomorrow being Wednesday, you can expect the college football trend report to come out tomorrow. The NFL trend report should come out on Thursday. And guys, until next time, best of luck on all of your wagers today.